Namaste. Sanchi. Wow. At the moment, you know, God, it's difficult to know where to start. But at the moment, I, I had a very profound experience recently with my head injury and everything. So I started to make these videos. And what do I want to do? Well, I want to talk. I find it very interesting, a lot of these things, and from a place of just wanting to share with the world something that's very important as I see it, I started to make these videos. And I guess I'm inspired by other people who are doing the vlogging, because it's a fascinating time in the world with political correctness gone mad and everything else. It's madness time. Uh, you know, you've got these kind of liberally minded people who are just standing up for the normal, ordinary decency, and then Wikipedia them and they're far right wing conspiracy theorists. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, listen to what they're saying. They're not far right conspiracy theorists at all. They might be thinking about some things that are very controversial and talking about them, but why all of a sudden are they fucking right wing? I mean, sorry, but if you actually listen, they're saying, no, I'm very liberal, actually believe and agree with a lot of these socialist ideals, but the way that it's being done is not what I believe in. And then suddenly you're a right-wing conspiracy, far right, ultra right, so you're a racist, a sexist, a xenophobe, and I mean, I don't know how people just don't see it. I mean, then you've got to question it, like, well, how the fuck is the world full of such stupid people? Why can't you see what's going on? It gets very frustrating. And then, of course, frustration rests in awareness, like everything else. So then you've got to ask yourself, well, what's the purpose of this frustration? There's no point thinking, oh, I'm so frustrated, I must be wrong, all of this shit, which could have some kind of relevance, and that's why we need to talk about it. So anyway, my point is, I keep doing these videos, and at first I'm trying to be kind of with the best intention I can, a little bit different, a little bit unique, so I try and just start the video, not have any idea what I'm talking about, which I'm now thinking is much better to have a little topic that you might want to think about together. And, obviously at the same time, I have had a big problem with drugs, and now I'm in recovery, so I'm not using any drugs, except for a little bit of cannabis and occasionally a glass of red wine, which then it's fascinating. Oh God, you could talk about topics, let's have one. I mean, it's fascinating to me. I mean, I've done different rehabs, I've been interested in different, once I had my little 2 years abstinent badge, which means I've not even done anything except you're allowed to smoke cigarettes, because you shouldn't give up cigarettes if you've been addicted to them, because that would just put too much stress on you. So that's not part of total abstinence. Philosophy, ideology, which, there's always two aspects to these things. On the one hand, I very much agree with total abstinence, because sometimes at that time in my life, I really did need that. But at the same time, I then had a rehab once with Gary, one of my counsellors. Actually, he wasn't my counsellor, he was one of the counsellors who I ended up having a session with because my counsellor was not there. And he was in recovery himself, something like 20 years recovery, a bit older than me. And he told me, we were talking about total abstinence, Concept House. This was not a 12-stepper thing. This was actually about cognitive behavioural therapy. And the cognitive behavioural therapy is very great. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, he said, I will occasionally have a bottle of wine, maybe once every couple of weeks, if I feel like it, and it's not a problem for me. And I will always remember what he said at that time. And it's something like an emotional connection, that I remember that for a reason. Because whilst he was advocating total abstinence, he actually had a little exception to the rule inside himself, because he had a bit of a bigger understanding of what is the function of total abstinence. Why are you trying to be totally abstinent? Why do you believe that that's what must happen for the rest of your life, because everything else is a slippery slope, moving you back to your drugs of choice? So it's an interesting, fascinating thing to me. For example, this. Okay, let's talk about this. And the reason I do these videos is then I'll try and stop doing them. And then I'll be talking, and I'm like, oh my god, why am I not? Why is this not on my video? This is exactly what I want to talk about, and I'll talk about light bulb moments. Okay, it's a little cliche that I might use. To me, it's very cliche, and so I have a resistance to it because of that. And at the same time, it's right on the money, because when things happen in my life, whether I like them or not, it goes right beyond that. If it's interesting, if it pops out and it gives me something to think about, my internal dialogue, my internal process, my worldview, whatever you want to call it, making sense of this very nonsensical, paradoxical existence, then part of me wants to be on the cutting edge of understanding, well, why? Why are you giving me something to think about? And I'll tell you what, it's fascinating, because I'm open. I'm not closed. I mean, I'm quite happy to admit if I'm wrong. If I was misguided in my idea, well, I'm ready to admit it. If the light bulb has burst open and come on because of your little thought, I'm quite ready to adapt, because if it's the truth, there's nothing else. That is the truth. The truth blazes from within all of the madness. There is always absolute Atman, truth. It is undeniable. Humanity, human behavior, all this mind, that's not wrong also. So you can have different, there's all these different philosophies, different ways of saying things that have already been said before. So you've got Krishnamurti, which apparently what he said is something confusing. He said, these are your thoughts that are happening. They belong to you. And then, of course, you'll get people like, I don't know, who is it? What's his name? Muji or Osho, and they'll say, you are not your thoughts. Thank you is the highest expression of mantra. Things like this. So then, how do we consolidate those things, those two things? Where is so you've got the paradox, you've got the language barrier, and you've got fucking blazing realization, which is why when they'll say something like that, not necessarily that, but anything that makes me, I can listen very well. I can listen intently, but it's not until something really pops out naturally, not looking to try and find something might pop out. It just pops out by itself. And why? Because I need to learn something that I didn't know before, and I'm quite ready. I'm very open to it, and that's what these videos are all about for me. It's about sharing from my highest self. I have no reason to try and bullshit anyone. I mean, there is nothing lacking in terms of needing to be more popular, needing to be more famous, anything else. In fact, funny thing is, I'm a little bit protective of my own songs, and I always have been. So I played a lot of covers, and then I had my, with Montana, and then I've met his, I don't want to personalise people who, but okay, there's a guy, and unfortunately he died, and he was a very, very amazing guy, and a big, influential, countercultural kind of person who was very obviously amazing, and he had all of his shadows aspects, but he was full of light at the same time. So those are the people that are interesting to me, and it's not that I'm trying to find them, or you might specifically be interested, because of this. It's beyond all of these points of view. It is just a fact that you popped up. And so he used to be angry with me because I play so many cover songs. And, he didn't want any cover songs. He only wanted real, what he would say to be original music, original lyrics, no cover songs. And I struggled with that for some time because I love the freedom of playing cover songs. For some reason, I know what it is, but for some reason, I read a lot of books about different icons. So it might be Jimi Hendrix, it might be Syd Barrett, it might be whoever it might be, Kurt Cobain, all the different books about him, because that's what fascinates me. So the people who, a lot of these kind of Amy Winehouse characters, who wrote a song about, finally fascinate me because I don't know what that industry entails when you get to the Justin Bieber levels, everyone throwing themselves off balconies to try and get near you, and what that must be like for these guys. Why, for some of them, they can't handle it, and why it's actually the death of them, or it actually becomes a kind of big problem. I'm fascinated by that. Why? Why is fame such a pain in the ass? And then I have no idea about that. And so I do have my own songs. What am I trying to say? Montana desperately wanted me to play my own songs because in some way he did really love and respect me. And God rest his soul, he was an amazing guy. But we didn't meet on a good terms. He hated the fact that I was playing all these cover songs. He didn't like it. So what did I do? Played even more of them with my little fucking Bob Marley book that I got from somewhere. So then suddenly I'm fucking sitting in the cafe with all these people. Pocker, 2012. Fucking Mayans and the world's going to end. Alex there with his little Bob Marley book, refusing to play his own songs, playing Bob Marley to the best of his ability. And I believe in it. Because, yes, you see now, it becomes, I'm getting a bit older. And I've had a serious head injury. I've survived it. And the universe is trying to show me something. I don't have all the fucking answers. And I don't think any of us do, or we ever will. Because, there's a lot of confusion in this world. And I'm not so confused. I mean, because from a place of kind of openness, human beings are amazing. And there's actually nothing, this video, for example, or any video that I might make, it's great if I might say something profound. It's great. But that's not the focus. The focus is just openness. And so, the other day I made one, I was very fucking pissed off about all this 5G and everything else. And I made a statement because I watched that video back and it made me, because that's what's fascinating to me. I'll watch my own body language and I'll watch my own reaction. So you've got the cognitive triangle. I've done a lot of digging in terms of psychology, how it works, how this system works, what are emotions, where do they come from, how are they born, what are thoughts, who owns them, where do they begin, where is the fucking, the action in all of this. So the cognitive triangle is absolute fucking gold to me. It always comes back to that. Thoughts create feelings, create responses, actions. You can go deeper into all of the language about thoughts, and so you might call it reflections, you might call it whatever you might call it, but then they create emotions. They actually create them. So then when you get into this kind of vicious loop of kind of, oh well, I've got this fear-based thought, and now I feel all the shit, and now it'll go straight back to the thoughts, and there'll be even more about it, and I'll have even more of this emotion, and then I'll have an even crazier action. These things, I have to understand them, and I do. And so if I can say something that can help any one person, even one person who might watch this video, to open their mind to their heart, which is always open, actually. It's, in terms of the emotionals, the response, I believe the heart is always on and it's always good. You can talk about what are you talking about, the heart, well, let's say the spirit, let's say the soul, the heart, passion, God, that's a big word. Okay, it's very fascinating time of the world, and I just want to, when I'm at my best, I only know this because I've been told, and I already knew it, but when people confirm it, it becomes even more relevant. So maybe that's what they'll want, okay. Alex was good at getting people on stage for the first time. That's what I've been told by someone who fucking put me in jail and is my enemy, enemy. He had a lot of problems with his own shit, and he tried to attack me because he perceived me to be some kind of threat and everything else. It's a long story. But when we did meet up, and I did say, well, let's just talk, let's be a bit reasonable, I don't want to fucking kill you. I know you've tried to kill me and you want me dead, or, whatever else, but, I'm a little bit, let's rise above this. Let's try and be adults. and let's have a bit of decency and humanity. Let's find the lesson in this. I'm always interested in that. It doesn't matter how horrific you've been to me. I'd be doing you a great disservice if I didn't try and reflect it to you in a way. You know, some people are absolutely not ready for it, and then they'll just want to fucking kill you even more. But one thing that he did say to me, and it was another little light bulb moment of mine, because you know I also need to hear some things sometime, especially from someone who absolutely fucking hates me. For him to actually say what he said, what was it? Oh, you're good at getting people on stage for the first time. I can't believe he said how many people I've witnessed you assist in going on the microphone for the first time when they were so scared of doing it. And how do you do that? Why can you do that? And then I realised that's why he's a little bit threatened by me, because he wishes he could be like that. And then, you know, then it's not something bad or something, you know, it's just a light bulb moment in terms of it's giving me something to think about. Well, here we go. We've got this paradoxical element. We've got someone who wants to he wants me out of the way, whether it's dead or just destroy my reputation. And believe me, he made a very good effort. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever one you want to buy into, I believe, fortunately, he forced me to. Okay, it's a light bulb moment for many reasons. There's many factors involved. It's not simple. You see, these things, we may just think, oh, it's all bullshit. It's all in the mind. You know, it's so simple. It's so stupid thinking about it. No. These things, when you're talking about spirituality, psychology, how this brain attaches to this body, who it belongs to, where is it, where does it exist, where is it going? All of these things, they're not simple topics. But religion, I will not say I believe, I know. Religion is not just bullshit. And religion is a science. It is absolutely measurable. So I don't care if it's Christianity, if it's Muslims, if it's Sikhs, if it's Hindus, you know, whatever it is, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to get you on my team over here with my multi-faith outlook. That's not my intention. My intention is that the truth will stand up for itself, and it very much really does, because when the truth comes through, even for someone who hates you guts, you can't help but listen to it. Oh, that's the truth coming through. I am very good at getting people on stage for the first time. I've got, you know, I used to do, like, you know, that can't always be a good thing. I mean, you know, what I would do, I would have my different little friends, and I'd be there in Goa. I was quite popular actually, and so I'd spend many different time with different people. And so I'm just making this little video because I wanted to share something. Okay? Oh no, you don't have to close the door. I'll finish it now. Yes, I'm coming out to smoke with you now. Is that okay? Okay. Well, if you think I should shut up and not do the videos anymore, then I hope you're going to just say, okay? Anyway, sorry, it's my own shit going on here. I've forgotten what I was fucking talking about now. Oh yes, what I used to do was I would, well, first of all, what music do you love? That's why I love the power of the cover songs. It's again related, it's relevant. What I love, and what I know to be true, is why did the Beatles write all of these amazing, timeless, classic, genius songs that will never die? Hopefully, unless we all die. What was it? How did they access this great ability to share in terms of the lyrics, the music, the style? Where did it come from? How did they do it? Well, I'll tell you how they did it. Because it's, you know, what they did is they played music that they loved when they were young, music that touched them. They imitated it. So they played cover songs. And through those cover songs, they found John, Paul, Ringo, George. They became the Beatles. This is just one example. You can go through all of these guys. There is none of them that just played their own spontaneous music and suddenly became, you know, the influence of others is absolutely key for me. You know, to find my own voice through playing cover songs is absolutely, I will not deny myself that right, or that knowledge, or that knowing that that's the way. You know, because of what someone else might think who's learning the saxophone and they're doing all of the blah blah blah. And, you know, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm a songwriter and I'm a guitarist, rhythm, and I'm not learning lead because I don't have enough brain power to do that. I mean, I can do a little bit, but that's not my focus. My focus is music. So what do I love? Like people like the Rolling Stones, Dylan. You know, what was Dylan? Dylan was Woody Guthrie. You know, I've read about Woody Guthrie. I've read about Dylan. I've found out Dylan's books are deep. The Chronicles, my God, it takes a lot of concentration, and they're very amazing books. And he will not make any bones about it. What he did is he copied his idol, Woody Guthrie. Played his songs originally. And it wasn't long before he started to find his own songs. And, you know, the thing that frustrates me, the problem, if there is such a thing, is that I have then believed so wholeheartedly in this. And okay, what I would do, there would be a friend, she's never been on stage before. This is just one example. I won't name people because I don't want to embarrass them, but, well, there's been a few people, and believe me, it's the most amazing thing that ever happens to me in terms of spiritual betterment, connection, my impact on one person's life, which can impact so many others, and the power of it that you tangibly, absolutely know it in the moment. Well, what I would do, a little bit sneakily maybe, is we would practice the song in the daytime. You know, oh, you sing good, which she did. She's musical. She's never done it before, so she needs a little bit of encouragement. And I'm actually very good at that. And so we sang the song together, and of course, I don't take myself to be some kind of great musician, but I can hold a fucking rhythm. I can know how to hold the spaces and wait for the next one, and bring the chorus in, the crescendo of the chorus, or, you know, whatever it might be. I have the awareness beyond the intellect, from the heart. That's what I love about music. That's why I've become a musician. I could have been many other things, but music was the one when I was in art college. Anyway, it's a long story. I digress. But what I would do is we'd practice the song in the daytime, and then I'd have a concert in the night time, and she'd come along with everyone else who was my friends at the time, and hopefully a lot of other people. And there was actually many people there. It was actually kind of open. It was a kind of open mic, let's say. Is that one? No, I think, you know, I would do different things. Like I would have my own concert, and I think that night it was more kind of, well, I didn't say it was an open stage, but I would always have extra mics ready in case people wanted to jam with me, and I would have that kind of, you know, it wouldn't just be fucking exclusive. I would make it more open, and that's why I was probably very good at getting people on stage for the first time. But anyway, I kind of played a little trick, because what I did is we practiced this song in the daytime, and then when I'm on stage, everyone's listening, I'm introducing, and I said, today it was the most fantastic thing, because we sang this song, and we learned a new song, a new cover song, and I would love to present it to you now, and can please so-and-so join me on the stage, because we're now going to sing this song. And I look over, and it's like, you didn't tell me you were going to do that. But everyone's now looking at me, and they expect me, yes, come on, let's play. And so along she comes, and we did a very good version of a Fleetwood Mac song, and everyone loved it. And, you know, I was trying to show, you just sing directly into the microphone, you know, you have to hold it straight, or, you know, you have to adjust it for your height so that you're actually directly singing into it. So these things, all of the mic technique, the stage craft comes into play very quickly. You're learning many things. At the same time, you're there, bare in front of everyone, so you better be your best that you can. You know, if you're afraid, then just be real with it, and we'll support you. And, you know, when I look back on it, well, there was a few things that happened like that. That was just one example. And, you know, she will be forever I will be forever in her heart in a way that is beyond words. Talk about romantic love, or whatever it might be. That's not what it is, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you want to say. Like, it wasn't about that for me. I'm not trying to fucking get her in bed with me. That's not what I was doing. What I believe in first is the music. I love it. I love the freedom. I love the realness. I love the expression, the right to express the self, like in a way that makes other people happy. And the more happy you are, the more happy they are, and vice versa. It comes it's an exchange of energy, which I know is a very controversial word for some people. Energy, yes. These things, we have to get over them. All of these little labels that we've kind of become so attached to, they need to rest in clarity, because they are resting in clarity. Everything is resting in clarity at all times, whether you like it or not, which you don't, mostly. You see, I've come to that point of realization without wanting to sound like some kind of big head. I mean, I say that as an egotist, but I don't believe in the denial of egoism or egotism. I do not believe in kind of any extreme point of view that we can come to, about, whether it's denial of the ego or whether it's, oh, I'm a complete egotist, look at me. Somewhere in the middle is the truth, always. The polarization of these societies now, the polarization within ourselves is the problem. Because you can say someone, oh, look, they're so fucking right-wing and so full of conspiracy, well, fuck those people. I'm now going to be over here with these, like, ideologically sounder kind of people who are not on the extreme wing of the right. You don't understand what you're talking about, first of all. It's not even that. Not even saying is that. It's just being real. Right, where is the common sense about this? Why do we suddenly have to make it all bullshit because he's had, like, a few problems with this, that? We all have these problems. So it's not right to just dismiss people because they might have said something stupid once. I've said many stupid things in my past. I'm sure if I ever did become famous, I better fucking watch out. I'm probably a fucking bigot and a racist and everything else, but I'm absolutely the opposite of that. I'm accepting of whoever you are, for whatever reason, whether you're in peace with yourself or not. I'm in peace with myself, and there's no problem. Right? But that does not mean that we have to, diversity has just gone mad. I mean, I'm sorry, but where is this function? You have to have a respect for where you are. So whether I'm in India, Nepal, it is tribal, of course. There's many hundreds of fucking thousands of years of that. It's not just about you suddenly there with all your fucking equanimity, which has just gone mad. I'm sorry, but diversity, yes, this is a very diverse world, but human beings are tribal creatures. So to call them fucking right-wingers just because they don't want to, give up their sovereignty in terms of their tribal identity, who they are, I'm sorry, but you've just missed the whole point. I mean, that's what's happening. It's very fucking scary what's going on. Because I see it, and I'm just trying to describe it. And you mark my words, if I really hit the nail on the head, and if I did become fucking famous, it would get nasty very quickly. That's why it's very controversial. And, these things which I'm talking about, they're just normal, ordinary things. I mean, I'm trying to think a little bit. I'm always trying to think a little bit deeper, beyond the surface. I'm always trying to find a bigger truth, because the truth will set you free. The truth is undeniable. I mean, but you will deny it all your life. So everyone does it. The truth is there, but we deny, we get confused. We're very confused, most of us, even though we think we're not. So there's always these aspects to everything. For someone like me, I've had to go through this shit, and I did go through it, and I don't make any bones about it. But it does piss me off when I see all of this political correctness just go mad. I mean, it's going mad now. One of my my family all work in the theatre. My immediate family. The reason I was brought up in Stratford-upon-Avon is because of the theatre, Shakespeare. And I was actually in the Shakespeare play, and I was actually the head chorister in the church where he is buried. And Shakespeare, absolute timeless genius. He invented many words. Many of the words that we use today, English, Old English, was brought to the New English. And we've got Billy William Shakespeare to thank for much of it. He invented many words. Amazing. Amazing person. But anyway, what was I saying? About theatre. Oh, yes. The theatre, my immediate family, they have good jobs. I mean, my dad was the head of department. Now he's given up. He's gone to be a new career. And now he's a lecturer. He lectures about typography because he's a very good lecturer. He's a very effective person. And all of the politics of the job in the theatre years ago, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, became too much for him. He couldn't handle it anymore, and he was sick of it after a lifetime trudging along working for this company, which, it's very interesting. I always consider myself as a very liberally minded person. What does that mean? What does progressive mean? What is liberal? Where are we going with this? What is the real agenda behind it? Very interesting questions. And so now, one of my close family members told me, because I emailed them about how uncomfortable it was for me to be in the middle of a gay parade in Scandinavia where they were touching my ass, and then, maybe it's just because, I'm asking the question, maybe it's just because gay men traditionally love to try and seduce me. And I am not homophobic, but I do have serious and very relevant questions which I cannot ask in this very turbocharged, politically correct world. For me, oh God, I don't want to get too political, but anyway, I mean, that's a very touchy subject. I wish it wasn't. I wish we could address these things. I honestly do, because it's, you better tread with care there. Anyway, my very close family member, one of my immediate family, she said to me, because I'd said all of this about how in the gay parade I didn't like it, they were touching my ass and doing this sexy dance and are you gay or not, and suddenly I didn't like it. I did not like it. I mean, where's the Pride March? I understand the history, I understand it was suppressed, I understand everything that's happened. I have a good enough basic awareness of the struggle for the gays, but unfortunately, what's happening with this all equality now is that my immediate family member told me that just 5 minutes and then I'll finish, okay? My immediate family member told me that she said, nowadays it's not about talent in the theatre. Everyone's got to be gay, lesbian, black, Chinese. She said we even had one in a wheelchair and one who's deaf, and because of this equality thing. Now, this is a very interesting topic, and I'm sure it will bring up things for people if you hear this. Try to hear beyond labels, right? So, and then try and think, well, why? First of all, okay, the theatre's there in England. Now, English people, they are actually German, Germanic, Saxon, Anglo-Saxon. We've got the Celts, obviously, hunter-gatherers who were there in the first place. So genetically, English, the face of England, has a history. And the problem is with this kind of very fucked up liberal, progressive, I don't know what the fuck it's progressing towards, but well, I do actually. That's the very scary thing, because the problem is people buy into this, and so the point was that it doesn't matter now about talent these days. What matters is, well, it's like if you watch BBC, well, they're so happy about the fact that they've got some Pakistani doing the news presenting, because that means that we're so open and we're not racist. So look how look how non-racist we are because we've got this person over here. And I mean, we actually buy into this. We actually think that that means that we're good because now, you know, we've got kind of, you know, and then what happens is that the homosexuals will become very domineering with it because it's coming from a place of non-clarity. I don't believe in all this homosexuality, I'm afraid. I know people are gay. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm not homophobic. Most certainly not. But I believe in... See, this is where it becomes a very, very, very touchy subject, and I better watch what I say. Because these days, just being normal, decent, straight, try and march through town and say that you're proud about that, like the gays do. Because I'll tell you what will happen. Suddenly, you'll be a right-wing, male patriarchy, dominant male, all the feminists will be in uproar. And I'm afraid we've just lost the plot with this. Because why was homosexuality illegal for so many years? Why was it collected to the religion? You see, these things we're not allowed to ask anymore, are we? Oh, the religion was wrong. They were just suppressing people. Homosexuality is totally valid and fine. In fact, we need more children to realise how gay they can be. In fact, what we're going to do is, with this great modern healthcare system that we've got, we're so proud of, what we're going to do is we're going to ask these children, are you sure you're a boy? Maybe you're a girl. Have you ever thought about that? Well, we've got a bit of evidence here that we've built up over the last 50 years or so that suggests that we can give you some of these chemicals, hormone replacements. Oh, don't worry, it's totally reversible. That's what they'll tell them, parents. And the parents are then sending the child for a sex change. I'm trying to be fair with my words. And I'm afraid it is not easy. That is not my fault. I'm afraid that's just the ridiculous times that we live in. Because we're actually, you know, this is where it becomes very controversial. Because I have trans friends, transsexual friends. I'm connected with a broad brush of people from across the world, and in my electronic new media. And the problem is that I tried to have this conversation with one of them, and I tell you what, I'm an energy. I feel the energy, whether it's through the internet. I can feel the general vibes. It's something that I guess I'm lucky that I mean, I think we all have that ability, but I'm very, very tuned into it. And I believe that the words is just a very small part of the actual communication, because the communication is more spiritual, it's more bodily. And some of these things, when we know and realise them and they're coming from other people, it's just like a flavour, like a texture. And it's way beyond language. It's something right here, right now, you know everything. Because of who that person is, what they're about, where they're coming from. This is much more interesting communication that I'm interested in, because that is what's under wholesale attack now with the 5G. The slow radio beams being flying around everywhere that we didn't even have a fucking public consultation about. Suddenly they're just fucking radioactive boxes. I mean, I've seen them here. Oh, I'm like this, holding my fucking nuts. Oh my fucking God, what the fuck is that? It's got a radioactive fucking sign on it. And we just don't question. I mean, I'm sorry, but yes, people question it. But you know, they don't care. It's already done. They didn't even consult anyone. There was not any public consultation. I mean, it's madness. We are energy. And what is that? And why is it being allowed? You know, why all of a suddenly Silicon Valley's not there anymore? It's in China. Why are they all running away to China? Why? I'm sorry, but this socialism is extremely scary and dangerous. It is actually not what you believe it is. The political correctness, oh, look how right-wing they are. Look how fucking bigoted they are. And you're the fascist. You're the one who's actually full of the fascism, and you're a puppet for the people who are just loving it. They're like, yes, look how fucking sick we all are. How great. How much money am I going to make out of this? And I'll tell you what, it's fucking very scary. And then, I mean, someone like I don't just subscribe to any one fucking guru. There's many of them. Many people. Fascinating and great people. And I do not fucking just fall in line because that's what he's at. But some people really stand out. Now, I don't know if you know him or not. I don't want you to think that I'm just obsessed with him, because I am not. But, you see, look, my video is finished. How interesting. Right, I'm going to talk about you next time. And, yes, it's very interesting how his book's now been banned in New Zealand, isn't it? Fascinating, because he's not saying anything wrong, he's saying something fucking absolutely right. Fucking freedom of speech is very important. Let's fucking have it. Let's defend it. I want fucking, this is being, we will lose it very quickly. There's children. Children are the ones that carry the next generation forwards. Doesn't matter, got all this ages, oh look, the children. You have to get over these points of view. Anyway, I'm finishing this video now. Thank you for listening. One love and namaste. Have a lovely time.